welcome everybody to our new investor orientation. We have Matt Burke with us, our CEO, Darius Cassidy, principal, Aaron Warner, and Nicole Fortine, both investor relations managers. So we will go ahead and get started with our presentation. And then if you guys have questions during the presentation, if you see that Q&A on your, should be on your bottom right hand, just go ahead and put your question in there and we'll get them answered at the end.
Great, thanks, Brittany. For our agenda today, we're going to go over the Veribest mission and value proposition, navigating the Veribest network, searching managers and opportunities on Veribest, creating an investment, and then lastly, we'll share with you some investor resources we have available to you. So, Matt, go ahead and take it away for us.
Yeah, thank you, Aaron, much appreciated. So I think high level, what we wanted to share with people is our mission for on the investor side of the equation. I think that we do not consider ourselves a crowdfunding site, and we don't take commissions or anything based on capital that is raised. What we're really trying to do is simply provide a mechanism to improve the experience for investors and give them a better chance of making quality investments. So really, we have a twofold mission at the company. On the manager side, it's to up the game of managers to help them get better and better. And we do that in a variety of ways. And then on the investor side, it's to help investors make better decisions by providing information that is unavailable elsewhere in the marketplace. So at its core, it's really that simple.
All right. Thanks, Matt, for sharing that with us.
Cole? Thanks, Aaron. So to find a manager via our network, you need to click Find Managers at the top of the screen. And then you can scroll through our network of over 1,000 managers. And you can also use the filters at the top of the page to customize your view. But as you're scrolling through our network, you'll notice there's some unique terms to Veribest. You'll see Verified Gold, Veribest Verified. You can even see that there's starred reviews under certain managers' pages. And so in order to really utilize our network, you'll need to understand some of the key features a little bit better. So Darius is going to go into what it means to be Veribest Verified, and then Matt will explain what monitored means and manager reviews.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Yeah, so to be Veribest Verified, really what we're doing there is that our Veribest is running background checks on the principals of the company. And what we're looking for in those background checks is to make sure that they have not had any bankruptcies in the last 7 years. We're looking for our lawsuits, investor lawsuits specifically, but other lawsuits that may be concerning that investors may want to know about, and then any regulatory actions from groups like the SEC or FINRA or some of the other regulatory bodies that oversee parts of the industry. In addition to that, each of the principals are signing a code of conduct, and we are renewing these background checks on an annual basis, or in order for them to remain verified, they need to renew those on an annual basis. Beyond just being Veribest Verified, managers also have the opportunity to be Verified Gold. And what this is that Veribest is verifying the track record of the managers by taking a sampling of some of the deals that they've done in the past to make sure that they produced the returns to investors that they're claiming to have produced, and then verifying whether that to be the case or not. So this is also something that managers are able to maintain on an ongoing basis. So as they sell and close new deals, Veribest can update those on behalf of the managers, but generally this is also being done on an annualized basis.
Great, thanks, Darius. Matt, you want to share with us what monitor means?
Excuse me, sorry. That monitoring is a term that we've used to mean that they have engaged Veribest to perform fund or syndication administration and accounting services for their specific entity. That includes what would be considered traditional fund administration, and you see some of the things on the screen, bank account reviews, preparation of bank reconciliations, producing regular financial reporting, typically on a quarterly basis, calculation of management fees, carried interest, doing capital calls, capital account balances, and so forth. So in the institutional world, it's very common that institutional real estate investors will require managers to use a third-party fund administrator for the accounting and admin of those entities. It's not nearly so common in the sub-institutional or middle market space. Veribest really specializes in doing administration for middle market managers, and so the term monitoring simply means that that manager has engaged us to do the administration and accounting on that particular opportunity.
All right, thanks. And how about manager reviews? Want to talk to that a little bit?
Sure. And then we also recently launched a feature in the manager directory to allow investors to provide independent reviews and their opinions of specific managers. So in a registered investor member of the site, somebody who has signed up and has a username and password, is able to go in and review a manager either anonymously or by name, and do that across all of the managers in the directory, whether they are actually Veribest verified or gold or not. So it's a new feature just come out in the last month or two, and it allows people to, very similar to other platforms. It's a peer-to-peer kind of a rating system where you can get some idea of what other investors think of different managers.
Great, thanks for sharing that with us. So now that we've gone over some of the key terms that you're going to find on Veribest, I am going to show you how to find a manager that might meet your specific investment criteria. Once on the manager network page, you can find a manager several different ways. If you know the specific manager that you'd like to research, you can type their name directly into the search bar at the top of the screen. You can also use the filters at the top of the page to narrow your search results to specific metrics that you might like to set, such as open opportunities or searching for verified gold managers. You can select more filters option and view additional filters to narrow your search results. Once you have your filter set, you can review your results by scrolling through the managers on the screen. And by clicking on a specific manager tile, you'll be directed to their manager information page that lists all the principal members, shows their track record if they're verified gold, and any open opportunities the manager has elected to include in their profile. You can use the back button to return to the manager network and then click clear all to remove any filters that you might have set. To select an opportunity, you'll want to navigate to the specific opportunity at the bottom of the manager's page, then click on the opportunity, scroll to the bottom, and then you can click on any of the offering documents to download them and review them. If you have any questions specific to that particular opportunity or questions for the manager, feel free to click on Contact Manager link to send the manager an email. So that's going over navigating the network and finding managers and opportunities. Now I'm going to discuss how to make an investment on Veribest.com. The first thing you must do is to create a user account to be able to review or download the offering documents that I mentioned, make an investment pledge, or create an investment. In order to create a user account, you will need to click Login, enter your email address, and then enter your name and create a password. On the next screen, you'll be prompted to enter your phone number, your address, set up an investment account. You also have the option to skip those steps and set them up at a later time if you prefer. You'll then receive an email prompting you to confirm your email address. And once you click the link, you'll be ready to start the investment process. Nicole's going to now share with us some requirements that we have for investors on Veribest.com.
So to set up an investment account on Veribest, you'll need to meet the following requirements. You need to be a U.S. citizen or have a U.S. registered tax ID or EIN, be an accredited investor according to the SEC requirements, and then comply with AML KYC law. So what is AML KYC? Anti-money laundering, also known as AML, is mandated by national and international authorities and requires financial institutions to screen and perform due diligence on customers and report any suspicious transactions. Know Your Customer, also known as KYC, is a component of AML and refers to the way firms verify their customers' identities. Veribest uses a third-party integration to confirm our investors' identity information against public records. And once an investment account has passed both AML and KYC, their identity is updated to verified. So what does it mean to be an accredited investor? Accredited investors are individuals or entities that are allowed to invest in securities exempt from registration with the SEC. Offerings that are listed on our network are going to require you to be an accredited investor. And these accredited investors meet requirements defined by the SEC related to income, net worth, or financial expertise. And you have to provide certain documentation to prove your accreditation status. We'll go into all of these details in the next few slides. So for an individual investor to qualify as an accredited investor, they must have an income of at least $200,000 or more individually for the last 2 years, or assets of at least $1 million with a spouse or partner. Joint account investors must have a joint income of at least $300,000 or more a year for the last 2 years, and have assets of at least $1 million. Entity investors, including trusts, the entity or trust must have assets of at least $5 million in order to be an accredited investor. And if the entity or trust does not have $5 million in assets, then all members of the entity or trust must otherwise be accredited investors. And lastly, if you are an investment professional in good standing and hold a valid Series 7, 65, or 82 license, you can use that to meet the accreditation requirements. So there are four main pathways on our platform to provide documentation to prove your accreditation status. You can provide a third-party verification letter that is signed by a licensed CPA, attorney, or a registered broker-dealer or SEC registered investment advisor, testifying on your behalf that you meet the accredited investor requirements. You can use the income pathway, which you'll need to provide the 2 most recent years of tax returns, and then also sign a statement testifying that you expect to meet those same income requirements for the current tax year. You can use the net worth pathway, which you'll need to provide financial statements dated within the last 90 days, showing that you have assets of $1 million or more. And with that pathway, you'll also need to sign a credit authorization form, because Veribest will need to have your credit run to see if there's any liabilities that may detract from your net worth total. And then lastly, if you are a knowledgeable employee, executive officer, or partner of a fund or a fund issuer, you can use a signed officer certificate to meet the accreditation requirements for that fund. And then Erin is going to go over how to create your investment. Oh wait, actually this is me, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So once you've created your user account, you can create your investment account by clicking at the account tab at the top of the screen. And then you'll want to select the type of account that your investment account that you're creating. And you'll need to fill in all the required information, but you'll also want to double check that the legal name that you're selecting and the social security or EIN or tax ID number that you have is correct, because those will be listed on your subscription documents. And then those will also be used for tax reporting purposes. So it's a good idea to double check. And if anybody else is going to be associated with your account, say you're making a joint account, you'll want to have your partner or spouse's identity information handy, like their social security number and also their email, just to make the process go more smoothly. These are the types of investment accounts that are available to create on our platform. You can create an individual account if you're investing as yourself or on behalf of someone else. You can create a joint account if you're investing together with a spouse or a partner, an entity such as an LLC, LP, or corporation. We do have more options for you to choose from on that. Those are just a few options. A trust, either revocable or irrevocable, and a retirement or brokerage account such as an IRA or a 401k account.
Great, thanks, Nicole. So now I'm going to go over creating an investment. To make your investment pledge, you can click on the opportunity, and then click the invest button. Then you'll be prompted to enter in your total pledge amount and then select pledge and continue. Once you've selected the account from which you'd like to make your investment, go ahead and hit continue, and you'll be directed to an investment progress screen where you can now add in the funding method for how you would like to fund your investment, typically either via wire or mailing in a check. Next, you'll be asked to add in your distribution preference, and depending on the opportunity, you'll either have the option to either receive or reinvest your distributions. If you choose to receive your distributions, it's a good idea to have handy your bank account information so that you can set up an ACH transfer. Next, you'll need to select if you're an accredited investor, and then you'll be prompted to provide your accreditation documentation that Nicole went over earlier. Once you've uploaded your accreditation documents, you'll then be prompted to sign your Docusign subscription agreement. Docusign will generate the documents right in that screen, or if you're not ready to sign your documents, you'll receive an email where you can sign those documents at a later time. Once you've completed your investment pledge and you've generated your subscription documents, you can move the process along by doing the following. First, make sure that your identity is showing verified. If you did not upload any required accreditation documentation when making your initial pledge, please make sure to communicate with Veribest if you've received an email from us regarding your accreditation documentation. Make sure you sign those subscription documents that you were sent, and then finally communicate with the manager regarding funding your investment. So we've gone over how to navigate the network, how to create your investment account. We do have some resources available to help you should you need any assistance along the way. First is our support chat feature. The feature is located on the bottom right hand of the screen as you navigate through the website. If you need assistance at any time, you can click on the pink speech bubble and a support bot will pop up. You can search through various support articles, access tutorials, chat directly with a member of our support team, as well as schedule a meeting with Nicole or myself if needed. The Veribest Help Center is also accessible via the support bot. It has, like I mentioned, several videos, articles, and trainings available to help you become an expert in navigating the investor portal. All the articles are searchable and easy to understand, and it makes a really great resource for you should you have any questions. Lastly, Nicole and myself are available to you to answer any questions about the investor portal or assist you through the entire investment onboarding and accreditation process. You can schedule a time with either of us directly from that support bot on the bottom right hand of the screen. So that concludes our presentation. It looks like we've had some questions submitted while we were speaking, Brittany. So do you want to share some of the questions with us, and we'll answer as many as we can?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, guys. So one is, you're not managers or sponsors, correct? You don't develop or buy and sell or run real estate. Someone take that one.
Yeah, that is correct. We are not real estate managers at Veribest, so we're not picking and choosing individual deals. We're not recommending any investments or any individual deals. Historically, Veribest has provided services to managers, and we've done that through technology and administration. And a lot of that has now really come over into what we were demonstrating here to help the investors through their process of making those investments to help streamline that. So I don't know, Matt, if you want to add anything to that, but yeah, we are absolutely not recommending any particular investments, just trying to help the investors connect with managers and vice versa.
Yeah, no, we're everywhere you will read in the terms of service and all across all of our material, we're not recommending any particular manager, any particular investment. We're just trying to provide information to people to allow you to make better decisions. So, there's obviously thousands, it's tens of thousands of managers across the US in the middle market space that do all kinds of different stuff. And it's very hard for investors to get information about all these managers. We're trying to provide a platform that allows investors to have more opportunities to do that, but we're not a registered investment advisor. We don't get compensated by anybody for recommending anything, and we're completely independent on and agnostic, frankly, on who you invest with.
Thank you. A couple of questions have been coming through with how is Veribest compensated, and where does the income come from?
Yeah. There's a variety of different income sources for Veribest. Our largest income source is through fund administration. So managers hire us to do the back end accounting and administrative work on individual funds and syndications. That's our largest revenue line item by a significant margin, and I expect it will continue to be. So as an example, if a fund manager sets up a fund, puts it on the platform, and hires us to do the admin, we perform all the back-end accounting work, much like any fund administrator. It's our largest revenue line item. We also do advisory work for managers. So if people are interested in setting up a pooled investment vehicle, they can engage us and we'll help them with the setup of that entity and that transaction. And oftentimes that leads to a lot of the administrative work. We also charge for membership. So if somebody wants to be listed in the directory on the platform and have a tile on there with their name and information and all that, they pay an annual fee to be a membership. And that includes getting the background checks and so forth that you see, which we make available on the site. We also get compensated a processing fee. If an investor makes an investment in any particular deal through the site, we charge a flat equal processing fee, and that's the same across all of the different investments. So again, there's no money out of pocket to the investors. We don't charge the investors anything to participate on the site. This is all charged to the manager or the manager's entities. And there are no commissions, and there's nothing in there that would get us compensated based on directing any investment to any one particular place.
Thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I see a bunch of these coming through. Do you want me to just...
Yeah, if you want to just take a few.
Sure. It says this, the background check documentation available to investors. We put a summarized version of it up on the site, I believe, and maybe Aaron or Nicole can answer, but no, if you look on the site under the I got it on my other screen, but if you scroll down, you look under the principles, it would say show principal details, and then I believe it says where do they have that?
Yeah, it has the metrics there. If you click on the principal, it has the metrics for all the background check details that we do.
Yeah, so
for every item.
Yeah, it's a summary information that is derived from the background checks that we take. So we don't actually make the background check, publish it available on the site, but we summarize it and we note any discrepancies. So if you see anything on there, it'll either say a pink check mark or it'll have an indication on there that there's a discrepancy on a particular line item.
Yeah, it may be helpful to give a little bit of history as to why we are providing this type of service to investors. I mean, Matt and I have been professional real estate investors and managers ourselves, and over the years saw a number of managers speaking with investors, raising capital from investors that did have issues on their background checks or were flat lying about their track records and could not prove those track records. And so a lot of why we are making this information available is, again, to help investors make better decisions in the space, just to improve the industry overall and try to professionalize these managers that have not really had the help that Veribest provides them, either on the advisory and structuring or the professionalization of the administration, which benefits both those managers as well as the investors. So that's a little bit of the background as to why we are doing some of these
yeah, that's correct. I mean, I can tell you I've underwritten thousands and thousands of managers and deals over the years and the various funds that we have run for ourselves. And I'll just say that the information that is put forth and represented is not always what is reality once you dig into that information. So, and for the average high net worth investor, it's almost impossible for you to get that kind of information, which is really the information that people need in order to be able to make decisions. So, we're trying to create a platform that allows investors to to get access to information that they have virtually no way of getting on their own, and to help them make better decisions. Now, we're not going to make those decisions or recommendations for you, but we will try to at least make available the information that we believe that investors need in order to make intelligent decisions. So that is the concept behind it. Some of the other questions on here says, fee to me as an investor to use the site. I see it in here as $0. Correct. That is correct. There's no fee to sign up and to be on the site and to use it and to search managers and to make investments. If you do make an investment, the manager or the entity into which that investment is made is charged a flat processing fee, and that is paid from that entity or from that manager. So and that will depend on which, how they have it set up on an individual basis. Somebody else said, Legacy. Yes, we do their fund administration. So that's a good example of somebody who is a member on the site and who has also engaged us to do the fund administration for them.
Can an entity, LLC, and an individual create a joint account?
The joint account is separate from those. So there can be an individual can have any of those accounts and all of those accounts as well. So an individual can have an individual account. They can also have a joint account with another individual. And then an individual can also invest as an entity or an LLC.
Or if you're meaning if there can be more than one person associated with an entity or a trust, yes, there can. We don't have two signers set up right now, but I think that's going to develop down the road.
All right, sounds like Accredited is offering similar service to Veribest. Would you agree?
Yeah, and Darius, or
I'm not familiar with that group.
No, neither.
Yeah, I mean,
I would say it this way: there are groups that you can go and find listings and make investments. There's plenty of crowdfunding sites. There are a lot of other fund administration sites. There are not many groups that I know of doing much level of due diligence on managers and sponsors. I'm not aware of any other company that's doing all three of those things, having a platform that investors can make investments and find managers, a platform that is doing any advisory work to help set up funds, as well as the administration. So there are other groups that do a bit of what we do, but I don't know of anyone that does.
Yeah, I mean,
Accredited
is affiliated with 506C group, Darius, or the 506 group. So yeah, they are doing something similar. I don't believe they have a full manager directory and so forth. I see they have sponsor ratings. I have seen that. I guess I would say yes, it's similar in some ways to what it is that we're doing. So yeah, but as Darius points out, I mean, since the Jobs Act passed in 2013, you've seen all kinds of new things popping up between crowdfunding sites, sites trying to figure out how to, perform due diligence and homework and providing ratings and so forth. So yes, I mean, certainly don't say we're the only people in the world who are playing in this space.
All right. To clarify, the best way to deal with account issues is to set up a time with Nicole or Aaron.
I'd
Yeah,
say,
you can.
if you have specific questions about that, I think that's your best bet.
And if we don't have the answer, we will find the answer for you.
And then generally, how many new managers syndications are onboarding to the Veribest platform monthly or annually?
It has varied, and I would say that as we've rolled out the platform, we've experimented with different things and made changes. I'd say at any given time, probably an easier way to answer the question, there's somewhere between 40 and 50 open opportunities on the site. Sometimes there's more than less coming on and new ones. But I'd say on average, you'll see somewhere between 40 and 50 on there at any given point.
I see an interesting question that just came through that the way it's phrased may not make sense to some people, but if you have invested through or with a manager that is on Veribest, you may have done that through what we call a white label portal. So went directly through their domain to make an investment. If you have done that, that does not necessarily make you what we'd call an investor member on the Veribest platform. So you may not get our emails. You may or may not, and Nicole and Aaron would know this, an account already set up. I think you do, but you'd have to log in directly through veribest.com. And by doing that, you will be able to see the investments you have with the other managers that are listed there. But just a point of clarification there. So I don't know if anyone wants to add to that, but I think that's what one of these questions is referencing.
Yeah, and to further that comment, Darius, for more clarity, even the managers can, in fact, to the compensation, we also provide software to the managers that they can purchase and buy, and that oftentimes is in conjunction with the use of the administration. But for people who are using the software and the administration, that would be a white label portal. So managers can list and use our software to facilitate the investment process. So the actual signing of the documents and so on and so forth all happens using the Veribest software, but that may very well not actually show up on the network as an open opportunity, right? They're just managing that opportunity on their own and using our software to make that opportunity available to their own investor base. And in those instances, we do not get paid any fees associated with that investment because it's not coming off of our network, right, on the website. It's coming through a white label portal with that specific manager. So that may be somewhat confusing, but in fact, that's a point of confusion consistently for us, is that from an investor's perspective, you may have a username and password login through a white label portal, but not necessarily be considered a member of the investor network on Veribest if you didn't go on and sign up directly on our website.
If you do, though, sign up at veribest.com, and you might perhaps have investments with a couple different managers on our platform. And if you do sign up at veribest.com and become a member, you will be able to see all of your investments in one place. So you won't have to go to one particular investor portal, log in, see those, and then go to another one to see your other investment, which is a really nice feature that you'll be able to see everything listed all in one place.
Yeah, I've seen a couple questions about how long has Veribest been in business. Veribest was formed in January of 2017, and originally the company was called Redwood Real Estate Administration. We started off life as a real estate administrator, and it was a spin out of a company that I founded many years ago and still have today, which is Fairway America. So Redwood was started in 2017 fund administration. We rebranded as Veribest in 2020. So we've been around, as an independent company for going on 5.5 years, and we were doing similar services before that at Fairway. At this point, and somebody asked about employees, we have about 55 employees or so today at Veribest. And that's the combination of the folks you see on here, and a lot of those are accountants, doing the fund accounting and back office administration and monitoring, engineers that are building the tech and product people and so forth, along with operations and delivery and other customer success folks. So.
All right, have we exhausted all the questions? Does anyone else have any burning questions for us? Can I get a Veribest hat?
Yeah, I saw something about Elizabeth Holmes, the CFO of Theranos. Well, yeah, I mean, Theranos is a great example of one that now she was getting venture money, right? Big checks. And, you can see some very sophisticated people put a lot of money into something that proved to be, not what they actually thought that it was. So if it can happen in the venture world to the tune of billions of dollars, I promise you it happens all the time. And the small balance middle market world where, people are taking in $50,000 and $100,000. So it's just very hard for investors to know what to ask for and to get the information, even if they do ask for it. So, I'd say Veribest is the concept is extremely valuable. It's, the execution is very difficult, and it's a work in progress for us as we continue to, build out the company and the things that we're doing on behalf of the investors and the managers both. And we expect to continue to make progress along the way, and over time build something that should be incredibly valuable to both managers and investors. That's the goal.
Oh, it looks like I missed a question from earlier. Can you talk about your cybersecurity precautions?
Yeah, I cannot talk about them particularly well myself, but one of our partners of the company, Dan Warner, who's our Chief Technology Officer and is a multi-decade software developer and heavily involved in that, heads that up. Extremely well aware of what the issues are, extremely well protected at the size that we're at. And so Dan could speak much more articulately than I could. So I could tell you that as the CEO of the company, I'm comfortable with where things are at based on Dan's expertise on it. And between him and myself and our general counsel, we've gone through this extensively. But beyond that, giving you specifics would be beyond the scope of my technical expertise, unfortunately.
There's a question as to where we're located. So Matt and I and several others are in Portland, Oregon, and then we have staff members throughout the country and even some across the world. So that's where we're headquartered, is here in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah, we're headquartered here. We have a number of employees here, but I would say we're truly a global and decentralized organization. There's people all over the country. We have some back office people in the Philippines. We have developers in Europe and South America and across the world. So it's a very much a decentralized organization.
We do have an event coming up November 3rd through the 5th in Southern California if you want to meet us in person. So there is some information on the website, and you just apply to attend. And so that's coming up if anyone's interested in that.
Yeah,
event.
I'm glad you mentioned that, Darius. It's November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the Ritz-Carlton in Laguna, California. We'll be doing our Veribest Investment Summit, which is a reprisal of an event that we did 7 times from between 2014 and 2019 very successfully. But it'll be it's a learning event, and there'll be 8 managers there presenting opportunities, and you can mix and mingle with other investors. We'll have 100 plus verified high net worth accredited investors who are actively participating in the alternative real estate space. So a fantastic event. If you're interested, please reach out to us. It is invitation and application only because a very limited number of seats, but we do have a few spots left for investors. So love to talk to you about it if you're interested.
Yeah, and I just put the event link in the chat too, if you guys are interested in that. All right, you guys.
Veribest hat, we could probably make that work. But we get some new swag anyway, right, Brittany?
Yeah. Sounds good. Well, thank you all again for joining us, and we will be in touch with you all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.